Hello and welcome back to another episode of Deck Pilot. This week I am taking a deck that I created on stream called the Guards of War, which was based around an idea shown to me by a viewer named Sniper Bait. So without him, I wouldn't have gotten to this deck list. I like it in Deck Doctor. I don't think it's perfect. It could probably be refined, but I do enjoy the concept. Now we're going to get into some matches and I'm going to show you how good this deck can be. Let's get into the games. Alright, we're going to go up against Nyx first to start off with. That's a good name. I like it. And this hand's pretty good. We're playing first, so we're not going to be developing mountains for a while. So let's drop this Herald. And we pick up a Horse Master. So this is basically what I said for the mulligan for Deck Doctor. It's exactly that. You want one of these guys usually. I decided to keep both guards. Probably going to go with the King's Guard first to get some card draw going. Where is our friend Nyx gonna go? Seen double neutral, hasn't seen anything else. I'm not sure how much play this deck is getting on ladder. It's actually a smoke deck, that's great. Okay, this is a Cutthroat Bandit. I don't run Ground Shaker, so I'm gonna have to deal with this pretty honestly. Yeah. So I kind of want mountains now. We will go for the King's Guard, like I said. I'm not going to change that. Actually, probably Queen's Guard's a little better. So this might be some neutral. It looks like a neutral rush. Now, Cutthroat Bandit is arguably a pretty terrible card. But we'll see what else comes out. See, that's more like it. King's Faithful. That's the type of card you want to see. Gift of Steel is very handy. But the only sad thing is double neutral's going to come across here to finish me off and get this land spot. So I need to weigh up what's more important to me right now. Gift of Steel or killing the King's Faithful after... You know what, I think I'm happy here to just take the double neutral, lock this in, and then we'll take a clear. You know what, and I'll even get a Horse Master down to boot. So this can collect Faeria for me on the next turn. I don't really want both my mountains on one side. But because of how I've been forced to play... I might have to do it, and maybe have to go for a third mountain later, depending on what I need to play on the right side while defending. But this should be pretty good for me. This is about 6 Faeria for 5, half of my King's Guard and a full Horse Master. So I feel that Nyx gets the value here, but the problem is land placement. You know, there's not a lot you can do. You could develop 2 here, I suppose, but I'm probably just going to take this anyway. And your lines of aggression are here, and that is a turn away. So I get a turn to respond to whatever's played by my opponent. And this is... I was talking about in Deck Doctor how I feel this deck is quite good against Rush. And this is a reason why. You can develop a lot of neutrals, you can lock your opponent into a center land placement quite quickly. So yeah, I feel that... And of course, you have Kings and Queens cards, right? So you have a lot of taunt and ways to power up these taunts. And if, say, Yellow Rush doesn't have access to Choking Sands or Last Nightmare, you know, their little followers and monks are just going to be running into your Kings and Queens guards, and the more hits you get on them, the better. And we do see the double neutral fly across here, and that is no surprise. So I might want to keep this, actually, for a much better Emperor's Command turn. I do have to take this land. Does it need to be a mountain? That's the question. Probably not. I could actually just clear the board and play another Horse Master. That works out. And then we can start by pushing land up this way. We'll play the Horse Master here. So we're on the side of where my opponent might want to start harvesting Faeria, so I'm just giving myself an opportunity to clear anything that comes down here. Now, I could have saved that Emperor's Command for a fresh King's Faithful. I would have been able to deal with the protection, but like I said, the Faeria trade-off there was pretty decent for me. It was only one Faeria in my opponent's favour, and you know, he's playing suboptimally at the moment. Ooh, that is a card. That is definitely a card. Didn't pick up anything useful for this turn, unfortunately. Now, my opponent can double campfire to clear my Horsemaster, but I'm super tempted to allow damage to push this turn, just so I can collect an extra Faeria, and then I can play the King. And if that fails, I can just... yeah, I can probably just Queensguard. Or I could Hellfire. So I have options, so I'm playing a little patient here, allowing myself to take a bit of damage, which I'm not too concerned about, to give me an opportunity to play out Magnus, which is going to be a tremendous problem for my opponent because he's a neutral rush, and I should get like quite a bit of value from it actually. It depends what kind of creatures come down in response, but my opponent isn't harvesting Faeria, so I shouldn't expect anything too bad. I mean, if Nyx was to just push damage this turn and pass, then next turn we might see something of a bit of a threat, but if just a small guy comes down, then the Magnus is going to have a field day. Now, what I'm curious about is, will Nyx clear my Horsemaster? And the answer there is no. Now, that's I find that interesting because I feel that I've done this for a reason. I've moved my Horsemaster to give me these opportunities. I could also go for Red Devil. That's pretty good. I could also just go Queensguard Gift of Steel. That's also pretty good. And it's probably the better line out of all of them, I would say. I kind of wish I built Horsemaster on this side now, because I kind of already started committing lands, but moving this into double collection is going to be very handy for me. Now, I am curious. Is Nyx running Punishment? He is a neutral rush, but I've never really ran it in neutral rush. I didn't really see the need for it. I'd rather play Queen's Assassin for removal in neutral rush. I've had some success with that card in the past, but Punishment is not really a card I'd play. And I guess if you run Royal Judge, it gives you a bit of flexibility. You can have the Safeguard or the Punishment. But the 1/1 body is pretty weak. Especially with Ground Shakers. Always Ground Shakers around doing something. So, yeah, it's pretty weak. He's taking a long time to figure this out. I guess the problem is Nyx invested all his campfires into Outland Ranger, which is why I think this play was better than the King. Because now I know there are no more campfires, and both of these creatures will die. While killing my Queensguard, I'll gain 2 Faeria from the combat. And I'll draw a card and gain another 2 Faeria from the Hunted Outlaw proc. Time is running out. Oh, what's he gonna do? He's gonna do it. Into a Rebel Slinger. Wow. Well. I have a Red Devil available to me now. That's very good. So let's push up here. I'm gonna double collect. Let's get this Red Devil down. And we'll pass. I feel like we have plenty of time. It's not like I'm worried about Flame Burst. The most burst damage I'm going to be worried about is Yak Attack and Freedom Fighter maybe. So my health is a resource at this point, and I might as well get these red devils down now while I'm not bleeding too much. And red devil will pretty much kill everything that comes down here from neutral. I don't think neutral has a card which it doesn't clear. And let's say you played Mace Man, for example, just shimmy to the side and push 2 damage. I'd happily take that trade-off with the Mace Man and just play another red devil. King's Fable, on the other hand, is a little different. But we do have access to Hellfire, so this is going to be a good Hellfire turn. And I picked up a Blood Song to boot. Okay. So Red Devil... It's not going to give me enough to play Hell... Oh, actually, I could +1. Yeah, that seems fine. Pay 9. Gain 5 back, puts me to 6, +1 into Hellfire. Could even Blood Song at this point, but I don't feel like there's a need. I want to guarantee I get this Hellfire on the board. Now, it would have been nice to develop an aggressive mountain in this spot, but I couldn't do that turn without it. And I have another Red Devil, so I can just play Red Devil up there next turn. Court Jester, that's pretty sad. So now Blood Song seems pretty good. Ogre Dance could potentially be better. So this is what I was talking about during Deck Doctor. You have these moments where you draw 2 of your ramp cards, and then you're like, well, if Ogre Dance hits Blood Song, then I'm pretty sad. But in this situation, I think what makes Blood Song a little bit better in these predicaments is if 2 pings go onto Ogre Dance, you don't really care. So yeah, I'm absolutely fine with this. Excellent. We'll take a clear. Then we can +1 into... Well, yeah, we could actually just +1 into Ogre Dance and maybe even pick up Magnus. That'd be really good. Ah, we hit the Red Devil. That's a shame. But we can 2-cost Red Devil next turn. We double collect plus our free Faeria. We're playing Magnus next turn. And I don't think this is a true test for the deck. I know you guys are probably watching this thing. And this is Neutral Rush with Rebel Slingers and Cutlass Bandits, I think they're called. And then Magda's gonna go and hide. Oh, the Queen has come! But is she ready for the King? That is my question. Hi, Queenie. How are you? And I don't even care if this Queen develops anything, to be honest. Because I have 10 damage going to his orb next turn. Because whatever Magnus develops, unless it's a neutral, lands are going to be required to play it. So let's say, for example, Cypher came into the hand there, or Aurora. No way it's getting played next turn. And if my opponent makes a colored land, I know exactly what color the legendary's from. So the best card possibly is something like another Magda to block, or maybe even a Radiance for the following turn. But with Hellfire in hand and all these Red Devils, and if I pick up another Horsemaster, it's looking pretty bleak for our Neutral Rush player here. And it's time of Legends. Interesting. And a legend was drawn. So I'm curious to see what that is. Is that Baron? Or maybe that's Magnus. It's Baron. Well, it had to be a neutral legendary, right? And Baron actually benefits me more than it probably benefits my opponent. Oh, that's going to be lethal. What does Magnus give me first? A Queen's Guard. 0-cost Queen's Guard. Can't go wrong. And there we have it. And that is the first game with the Guards of War. Not really a true test of its power. But hopefully in the next game we'll play something a bit more meta and see how this deck performs. Alright, our next match is going to go up against Tututuru. Tututuru. It's a very cool name. I'm going to throw away all of this. I want to get a King's or Queen's Guard. Unfortunately, I didn't get one, but I'm on the Explore. So I'm pretty happy to just kind of explore into mountain here. Ah, so slow. I don't think I've played a game with this deck where I haven't had a kings, a queens, or a horse master in hand. But we're gonna have to go mountains. There's no way we don't play a creature next turn. For the simple fact that I want a Faeria Harvester. Now, I do have to be respectful of Flame Burst. So I'm probably gonna have to get to steal this card. Oh, he's playing down the opposite side. Oh, perhaps I can play a bit more aggressively with land. Maybe I can skip it this time. Yeah, okay. So if my opponent came down the same side, I would definitely mountain into Herald. But because he's gone down the opposite side, I'm actually just going to double neutral and pass. Because I get a mountain here, which is a good mountain for Horse Masters. And then we can use the Herald and the Gift of Steel. And that's a Fairy. So we're probably going to Bloodsong instead. And then hopefully hit this Hellfire. Oh, that's excellent. So let's do this first. Oh, and I killed the Brute as well. Beautiful. And let's get the Gift of Steel on this ready. So now I'm asking my opponent to throw 2 Flame Bursts at this, which will cost his entire turn. And then I can play Horsemaster as a collector. Or I can use Horsemaster if this doesn't die to push damage. I have a lot of great lines here, actually. I think the worst thing I could encounter... Actually, I don't think there's anything bad I can encounter, actually. I was thinking, well, Brigand Gift of Steel would be annoying, but luckily for me, Herald of War does stop that. And it's going to be a defensive Grimguard, and I can get around this, which is going to be very good. With a Queen's Guard that's going to be empowered on the following turn. So things are looking up for me in this match. So let's say this survives and gets another hit off. This Queen's Guard's actually going to be a 5/8. It's going to be very good. Now this is red, yellow, burn. So I do have to respect the fact that Scourge Flames will come down at some point. But you don't really have time to do that if you're defending like this. Now my opponent is probably going to want to initiate a race at this point. And the best thing I can do is just drop a Queen's Guard right in the middle. So let's take the hit first, make sure we get this stack. And there's a double power up. We're going to move this up so it gets closer to our opponent. I guess actually I should have played this aggressively. Why did I play it defensively? Why am I afraid of Scourge Flame? I win next turn if he Scourge Flames. So that was a bit of a mistake, actually. Having to, well, I guess this is kind of a bit of a useless spot now. Although I guess it does stop this Flame Silk Fairy from doing silly things. And my life is not really a resource in this matchup, so I guess all in all it did work out for me, but I think the Queen's Guard here would be in such a better position because I could clear the Flame Silk, or I could just hit face because it'd be taunted. Flash Wind to shoot my Herald. I like this deck. This deck's cool. Now, if I pick up a Horsemaster, I'm going to be in a totally different situation. Because I can double neutral up, I can Horsemaster, and I can clear the 4/2, and then I'm in range of this Grimguard. On top of that, unfortunately, no Horsemaster was found. Maybe I should start walking this up. Because it's a while till we hit Scourge Flame territory. Alright. Guess we pass. We're just going to sit here. I should have... Yeah, maybe I should have moved it up. I'm playing this matchup quite badly, guys. I will be honest. But, you know, sometimes you do. Sometimes you just make bad mistakes. Oh, the king. Do I win from playing our king? Our savior? I'll probably Hellfire, to be honest. If I play Red Devil, I'll have 5 Faeria left. I won't have enough to Hellfire as well, so we'll take Faeria this turn, and then we'll just use the Hellfire. And I don't really mind it not killing the Grimguard, because it's just kind of sitting there. If it didn't kill the Faeria, I'd be a bit more disappointed. And it just goes to show how very specific errors can completely dictate how you play out a match going forward. Well, I'm happy to take a draw. Okay. So this is probably better moving up. And then we'll take the King's Guard. If I'd drawn Horsemaster instead of another King's Guard, I would have neutraled here and moved up. Just to make sure I neutral here, just to make sure I can Horsemaster next turn. This is a flying Grimguard. What is he up to? I actually, funny enough, my favorite guard is the Queen's Guard. I more than likely prefer economy over card draw, because I feel like Faeria is a much more valuable resource than cards. Like in this situation, I'd always want Faeria over cards. The reason I drew that turn is because I was looking for something else I could play. Maybe I could fly into Flame Burst, maybe I could find a Blood Song, you know, a few things I could drop down to help me. Now, Scourge Flame is probably game over for me. Because if Scourge Flame comes down, I'm going to take 5 damage. And then I'm going to have to play... Yeah, I'm going to have to play a King's Guard to stop it. Oh, wait, what? Wait, what? Why would you do that? This does 3 damage. Okay, wait, what? I am confused. So what I really want is Flame Burst. But I don't really have that luxury because... Well, I actually I do. So I hit this. Okay. This moves up. I draw. And then I guard. So I am dead to Cypher's Wrath, I'm dead to Flame Burst. There's a lot of things I died to from this point. And it ultimately comes down to the fact that I decided to defend against the Scourge Flame instead of playing aggressively. And then playing aggressively was 100% correct there. So a massive misplay on my part, which ultimately cost me the game. So if you're ever in that situation, guys, make the aggressive line. Your opponent won't be able to Scourge Flame and win the race at that point. So well played to my opponent. Let's get into the next match. Alright, we are going up against Tahiti Punk in the last match of the episode. And we actually find King's Guards this time. That makes me happy. Last time we didn't have King's Guard, but we still managed to make it work. I think it worked fine. I just misplayed so badly that match. I'm a little disappointed. But, you know, you learn from your mistakes. And that losing is actually a greater lesson than winning. Because you don't often see what you did wrong when you win, but when you lose, if you identify what you did incorrectly, you'll learn from it and you shouldn't do it again. So we're going to double neutral here, double neutral again, and then we go into King's Guard, and it looks like our opponent is going to follow us with double neutral, so I'm curious as if this is a mirror. It'd be pretty amusing if it was. Let's see. So our land is, because we went first, our land is far more aggressive than our opponent's. Our opponent has to kind of move into the well here. And then we can take our first mountain here if we want to kind of make this well locked out. Or we could even push neutrals around if we want to. But I do have a Red Devil sitting in hand and I would like to play it. And it's actually going to be a forest. Interesting. So There is an explore, but there won't be another forest unless my opponent has a wood elemental. So I assume there is a wood elemental coming down. No, it's a Kingsguard. Hey, what's going on? Why is there a Kingsguard in green? What are you trying to do here, punk? The Guards of War belong to red. Green shall not take them. You don't have Herald of War. That's where the name comes from. So it's not a tremendous amount I can do in this situation. I guess I could just hit. But that plays into power-up cards. So for example, if I was to take a pre-hit here and he held the wood embraced, I would just lose my Kingsguard and his Kingsguard would live. If I don't pre-hit... Oh, an Emperor's Command, okay. If I don't pre-hit, it means that this Kingsguard will probably not be able to clear it, but the Emperor's Command came down preemptively there. We're just going to... See, I don't know if I want to even play a Horsemaster in this situation. Because I could just drop another Kingsguard next turn. Yeah, let's just wait. So my opponent collected a Faeria then, and I didn't. So perhaps I should have played Kingsguard here, because I could have preemptively Horsemastered. And we'll see what green cards come down. This is the Elderwood Embrace. So the Punk was just lining up a clear. And green is always going to be a bit of a problem for us. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that. That's for sure. We'll take a mountain here. We'll stop the progression. I don't really mind if this gets taken. We'll go for a Blood Song. See what happens. A bit of an unfortunate one actually, but we can always stick the Horsemaster in this spot, and this will collect. He'll collect a Faeria and pay for himself on the following turn, thanks to the ramp. I actually feel that I shouldn't be challenging green to one side. I might actually break off to another side. I might just like double neutral around. Oh no, he's going in. Oh, he's trying to make sure I can't get any further. Is that a Horsemaster? That's a wandering monk. So this is like a green. This is like a. I don't know. I don't even know what this is, to be honest. It's hard to say. So the disappointing thing is if I was to build land here, he could walk on and collect. So what I'm going to do instead, I am going to build land here, but I'm going to make sure there's a Kingsguard waiting to make sure that it blocks it and stops it from collecting Faeria. And this now gives me my avenue for developing land on the other side. This probably not going to kill this guy unless I pick up a Gift of Steel. Right. And another power-up. Oh, another Emperor's Command. Oh, man. I feel like I'm getting outdrawn here more than anything. Picking up all the removal and power-ups. Whereas I haven't seen a Gift of Steel yet. You kind of need a pre-hit here. Actually, no, the Red Devil could challenge this now that I look at it. So now we can start dropping our cards to empty our hand to make sure the Ogre Dance hits a good target. I could probably just like Horsemaster next turn just to get out of my hand, and then if I picked up something like Garadan or if I picked up something like Magnus, I'll have a pretty good Ogre Dance to follow up. I probably just wanted to hit the Devil, to be honest. It just gives me a body and it gives me a bit of Faeria as well. Oh, that's not a bad hit as well. I don't mind Horsemaster so much. But this Wandering Monk could be a problem. It is going to get empowered with these Kingsguard. So a little bit of synergy there between the two creatures. But hopefully there's no more power-ups and I can just clear out that Kingsguard nice and clean with this Devil. and then we can move on from there. If I pick up Gift of Steel, I have a great Horsemaster line with Gift of Steel. I can zip right down to the monk. I can drop Gift of Steel on it, and then I can clear. My Kingsguard is gonna live, which is great, and with free life as well against a green neutral hybrid, which means there's probably not much removal left. You know, we've seen 2 Emperor's commands, and we should be fine. Interestingly enough, buffs up this guy. Oh, why? This is just not fair. Why is this guy getting everything he needs? He played around my Horsemaster line. I respect that. That's great. But having all the Emperor's commands has really destroyed me. There's not a lot I can do about it. I guess I could move down and I can clear this. I might have to go for like a... Yeah, it's not good though. Alright, we're gonna have to take some risks. No, I can't even Bloodsong. I'm probably just gonna have to Queensguard this turn. Maybe I roll the dice on the Ogre Dance. I don't know. I take 10 damage. I probably just have to Queensguard. This dies as well, so I don't collect any Faeria off this side. I don't collect any Faeria this side. So I'll have 4 Faeria to work with on the following turn. That will let me Ogre Dance, and it's going to buy me some time, but it doesn't resolve anything. I kind of need Red Devil to be hit by this dance, so let's go for that. Yeah, that's a problem. To me, maybe I should have. Yeah, I probably should have went for the Bloodsong first, and then went into. Basically, like Ogre Dance and the Bloodsong means I lost a card. I didn't. That's all I lost. I lost a card, but it wasn't worth it. Another Hellfire. Virgin Force? It's always a Virgin Force. Every time I say Virgin Force, it comes down. So this is going to set up lethal. Now, green is a pretty bad matchup, but I felt like everything went wrong for me there. He just had like all the Emperor's commands, all the power-ups. I didn't really get like the Queensguard lockdown. I didn't expect that at all. So never underestimate your opponents. That's a key rule. And yeah. Let's just Flame Burst Face, and we'll drop a Surrender. So that is going to be it for this episode. Fortunately, didn't perform as well as I wanted, but I still have faith in this deck. I think it needs maybe a bit more tweaking, and we can maybe find a sweet spot for this, and it could be a pretty decent tier 2 deck. That wraps up this episode of Deck Pilot. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm a bit sad with my results. I went 1-2 this episode, but I think I learned something, and maybe this deck does need a bit more tweaking. But I had a lot of fun with it on my stream, and I wanted to show you guys, I wanted to share this with you and see what you guys think. So if you do have any changes, any suggestions, by all means, drop them in the comments below. Now, if you like this video, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up from you guys. And if you haven't subscribed already, if you'd like to subscribe, it'll keep you up to date of when my content goes live. And we have plenty planned for the future. If you haven't already, check out the hub, Faeria.com/the-hub, for all the latest guides, decks, and articles from the community and myself. So until next time, guys, take care and enjoy Gods of War.